Now, over and over, we hear about the threat of Islamic terrorism. The Muslims are coming. The Muslims are coming. They're coming to get us. They hate us because they hate us, as Joe Scarborough would say. We got to build a wall. I mean, look, we got to build a wall. We got to protect ourselves. We don't have a choice. Extreme vetting for everybody. We got a choice. We don't have a choice. We got to do it. We got to do it. We got to do it. Now, nowhere do we hear in the mainstream media, right? And especially from the right wing, that about the threat of white supremacists. Now, white supremacists in the past have employed violence. For example, there was two people who were very right-wing, part of the Sovereign Citizens Movement, which is an ultra-right-wing movement. It says that, hey, government rules, they don't matter. I can do whatever the hell I want. They attacked and killed police officers in Las Vegas. And look, during the Unite the Right protest in Charlottesville, a white supremacist ran over and killed a protester, Heather Heyer. Now, you can add blowing up an apartment to the list of things white supremacists have done that they have not talked about. Now, fortunately for us, the apartment that he blew up was his own. According to the Associated Press, Beaver Dam resident Benjamin Morrow was killed when his apartment exploded. Inside, rescue workers found a homemade explosives laboratory where he made an explosive out of peroxide. So, this guy was making bombs. He was making homemade bombs. But he wasn't a Muslim. No, he wasn't a Muslim. He wasn't radicalized by ISIS. No, it turns out they found some materials inside of his apartment that happened to show that he was a white supremacist. A newly uncovered search warrant for electronic records says that Morrow had documents concerning white supremacy groups. Among that, he also had 2 rifles, a scope, a handgun, and hundreds of rounds of ammunition, as well as a bulletproof helmet and vest. Gee, I don't know if this guy was up to something. Seems like he might have been looking to go out and do some violence with those weapons and obviously those bombs. Thankfully, this guy was so dumb, the only people that he hurt was himself. Now, there's a little background here on how he was covered. For that, I go to Raw Story. According to his obituary, Morrow was a devoted Baptist educated at a Christian college in Pensacola, Florida. Now, look, I say that as to point out some hypocrisy here. Now, does going to a Baptist school or a Baptist college, does that make you a terrorist? No, of course not. Does being a Baptist make you a terrorist? Absolutely not. No, of course not, right? But when it comes to anybody else, especially with somebody maybe that has a different faith, well then, of course, we're going to go and blame the faith. We're going to go and blame the religion. But first, more information on him before blowing himself up. He worked for a pharmaceutical company and was a food producer. So I guess maybe he learned how to do this, to work with chemicals from working at a pharmaceutical company, but apparently he did not work well enough. Now, there was nothing in there, obviously, about him being a potential terrorist. No, he was a devoted Christian, right? Now, it's funny that nobody's out there saying that Christianity is a religion of violence. Well, that's because anybody who says that would be laughed out of the room. That's absurd. Yeah, no, of course Christianity is not a religion of violence. But, see, the same people who would argue against that, and look, I would argue against that as well, some of these people don't have an issue with saying that about the Muslim religion. Oh, they're so violent. It's the religion. The Muslim religion is so incredibly violent. Terrible. Look at all the terrorist attacks. Look, it's funny how that works, right? So here you have a good old white Christian boy. It's into white supremacy and making homemade bombs. But he is not considered a potential terrorist. Nope. They completely ignore everything about that. Oh, what this poor kid accidentally blew himself up. Sad, very sad. Now, look, I don't necessarily believe that it's sad because the only person that he harmed was himself. Now, there is one big, obviously, downside. for other people. He unfortunately caused 10 families to lose their home. See, the apartment building, of course, ended up being filled with chemicals. As a result of Morrow's use of dangerous toxic materials, authorities had to demolish the building where those 10 families plus him had lived. So, unfortunately, these families, because of his stupidity, ended up losing their home. Man. And yet, of course, despite this and despite other potential white supremacist terrorists and things like that, the government is still ignoring them as a threat. Now, why would that be? Again, white supremacists, neo-Nazis, are actually more prone to doing attacks in the United States than Muslim extremists. I'm not saying Muslim extremists aren't an issue. Obviously they are. And we should protect ourselves against them. But why don't we protect ourselves against white supremacist terrorists? Why don't we do that? Why don't we monitor those hate groups that have sprung up? Well, I guess one of the reasons might be that some of them are Donald Trump's base. And of course, Trump right now is in charge of the government. The Republicans are in charge of the government, and they don't want to piss off some of their base. Look, President Obama, to be fair, he had a chance to look in this as well, but thanks to criticism from Fox News that he listened to, he decided, oh, no, we can't do that because we're going to offend conservatives. We're going to offend Republicans. Well, look, it would only offend Republicans if they were all terrorists or white supremacists, right? Well, look, I don't believe that. I don't believe that most Republicans are white supremacists. That's ridiculous. I mean, there's a lot of people in the Republican Party that are like, man, I don't believe in that terrorism stuff. I don't believe in white supremacy. I just like tax cuts. I like tax cuts. I like making money. Look, those people aren't a problem. Or the people that are like, well, I'm a Christian and I'm a good Christian, so I'm obviously Republican. I have some problems with them, but white supremacy is not one of the problems that they have. Okay. But look, there is some of the base, especially when it comes to Trump, are white supremacists. I mean, after all, he did call them some very fine people. Well, I don't agree. And I don't think most people agree with that. So, look, man, good riddance to this guy. I'm not gonna celebrate the fact that he blew himself up, but I ain't gonna be sad either. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.